Meanwhile, governors of the 19 states in the north have exposed the call by their southern counterparts that the presidency should be zoned to the south in 2023. This formed part of the resolutions reached when the governors held an emergency meeting with traditional rulers in the region at the government house in Kaduna State. Chairman of the forum and governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, read out the communique containing the resolutions on behalf of his colleagues. And correspondent Lupe Assam reports.
Another conversation on the state of the nation. And here, northern governors and traditional leaders are gathered at the Kashim Ibrahim House in Kaduna for an emergency meeting. At the last one in February, they resolved to collectively fight insecurity and enhance socio-economic prosperity of the region. They are here to receive updates on the implementation of those resolutions. They will also deliberate on emerging national issues such as value-added tax collection. This has sparked wide reactions and controversy over the past weeks. A court of appeal in Abuja had ordered Rivers and Lagos state government to stay action on their VAT laws. This is pending an end to legal dispute on the matter. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice has also disputed the rights of state governments to claim VAT collection. And after 5 hours of closed-door deliberation, the northern governors come up with a similar resolve. They say there will be an increase in prices of commodity and a collapse in interstate trade if every state is allowed to enact its VAT laws. They promise to wait for the final judgment of the Supreme Court as the case is sub judice.
The judgment of the Federal High Court calls to question the constitutionality of VAT. The reason Lagos accounts for 50% VAT collection is because most of the telecommunication companies, banks, manufacturing and other trading activities have their headquarters in Lagos, with the resultant and the wrongful attribution of VAT. Until and unless the Supreme Court pronounces judgment on the substantive matter between Rivers State and the federal government, the matter is sub judice, and Northern State Governors Forum would respect this.
The forum condemns agitations by southern governors who insist there must be power shift to the south in the next election. They say there are no such laws in the constitution.
The forum observed that some Northern State governors had earlier expressed views for a power shift to any three geopolitical zones in the south with a view to promoting unity and peace in the nation. Notwithstanding their comments, the forum unanimously condemned the statement by the Southern Governors Forum that the presidency must go to the south. The statement is quite contradictory with the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, that the elected president shall A. score the majority votes, B. score at least 25% of the votes cast in 2/3 states of the Federation, C. in the case of run-up, simple majority will win the election.
The forum also called for the establishment of National Livestock Transformation Program as a substitute for open grazing.
Other issues raised include the spate of drug consumption among the youth and the release of criminals by judicial officials. The Northern Governors Forum expressed readiness to work in synergy with the federal government to find lasting solutions to security challenges. Lupe Assam, TVC News, Kaduna.
And now we're staying on this story, which is the development in the northern part of the country where 19 governors of that region held a meeting and came up with resolutions. Some of them were to counter some of the things that their southern counterpart has said. And joining us now to have a conversation on this is a public affairs analyst, Yemi Saka. He joins us live in the studio. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So we saw that meeting yesterday of the northern governors, and some of the things that were said basically were just to were response to some of the things that the southern governors have said. Quite all right. Other issues were mentioned, issues around the around security and power in that region. But let's focus basically on the issue that is generating controversy, which is that of zoning. You heard what they said. They are opposed to the language and the tone of the southern governors, saying power must come to the south in 2023. The state is not constitutional. It is just a gentleman's arrangement. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's a gentleman's arrangement, and if I want to blame anybody, any organization for how we found ourselves here, I'll probably want to blame the Afenifere, because in 1995, the 1995 draft of constitution that came from the Constitutional Conference organized by late General Sani Abacha made zoning a constitutional issue, where it stipulated that presidency will rotate around, among the 6 geopolitical zones, and the vice presidency too. I think it created room for 2 vice presidents in that draft. But Afenifere rejected that draft because they claimed they were not part of it, so it wouldn't be adopted. So when General Abdul Salam got into power, the Nikitobi committee just adopted the 1979 constitution, modified it, and gave us 1999 constitution. But I probably would like to remind the northern governors that in 2013, we are all Nigerians. We are all alive when Senator General Mohammed, claimed that if power doesn't return to the north in 2015, there will be bloodshed. Issa Keita said the same thing. And to some of us that were involved or knew about the active presidency era and the presidency era of Jonathan in 2010 to 2011, and the politicking in PDP, there was an agreement then when Obasanjo was going to come into power that to pacify, and I stand to be corrected, and I want anybody to take me on this, that to pacify southern Nigeria because of June 12 and MK Abiola's death, power should shift to the south for 8 years and come back to the north. That was the arrangement. So if it comes back to the north cannot decide if it's going to northwest, northeast, or north central.
And just sorry to jump in, because you used the word that I did not want to sweep past, which is the word pacify. Because it does seem that that's all we've been doing for a really long time, pacify. And people say it's because, well, Nigeria is quite polarized along ethnic lines, along religious lines as well. So maybe we should zone. But should that polarization be geared towards zoning, or get towards looking for the right leader for the country?
No, I think what that would have achieved is when every region has had a feel of the presidency, I think they become higher stake, or they see themselves as having great stakes and great stake in the country. And whether you like it or not, if you have a stake in an investment, you want to see it grow. So that was the essence, and I believe that is why everybody keeps mooting the idea of zoning or no zoning. And it's laughable when this Yerima Shetima, the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, had said in 2018-2019 that power should even be retained in the north beyond 2023. So when when the region comes out and they keep telling us that yes, it's not in the constitution, it's a gentleman's agreement, they believe in competence. I'm not yet to cast aspersion or judgments on anybody, but if the region said they wanted competence, they probably would have put forward the Muhammadu Buhari in 2019-2015. The argument for putting Muhammadu Buhari forward in 2015 was not about competence, it was about winning the election, popularity contest.
All right, so and let's look at that, because you just raised the point about competence. But we've also heard recently from a civil society organization in the north saying that power should be retained in the north because it's only a northern governor that can decisively deal with security in that region. When this kind of statement we're hearing about zoning or not zoning, or where power should go in 2023, what does that do for the polity ahead of the elections?
Well, it's up, but I even want to educate politicians frowning at zoning. If not for zoning, if zoning is not even a global approach to issues, South Africa wouldn't have hosted the World Cup in 2010. It's for equity and fairness. And for me, if anybody wants to, I have my personal opinion why power should come to South and which parts of the southern Nigeria power should go to. But if this region is shouting competence, they probably would have voted Kwankwaso ahead of Buhari in 2015. They would have adopted a more Gallo in 2019 ahead of any of these candidates. So why is that when it's not convenient for them now, they are not pushing for competence? And for anybody in PDP that's a northern governor that's saying zoning is not accepted and is going with his northern colleagues, he's actually deceiving because he's going against his party. In PDP Constitution, Section 37, as zoning is PDP Constitution, which PDP, and that got into PDP Constitution by the role played by late Chief Tony Aneni, that made it mandatory that it must be in the Constitution. So if a PDP governor from the northern part of the country says he doesn't believe in zoning, he's going against his party. And I don't know for APC, I don't know if it's in the Constitution of APC, But in PDP constitution, zoning is there in black and white.
Right, so we're expecting the southern governors to respond. Hope we don't know if they will respond, but we'll see how all of this play out in the coming days, because it's becoming an issue of the north and south. But we'll just see how it plays out.
But a quick call for me before we go, and when they keep dropping this numerical strength, I think it needs to be tested.
Well,
with a right, accurate census figure. And probably
we haven't conducted
voting
census since 2006, so we'll see how all of these issues play out. Thank you so much for helping us make sense of this. Political affairs analyst Yemi Saka.
You're welcome.